Blake Infinity win going around in the first race at Purton. He's having his fifth run this preparation. Up outside the leader at Happy Valley last start. How did you sort of assess the effort?
Look, I thought the horse run pretty good. You know, he was a victim, I feel, of being outside the leader in a slowly run race, and I just couldn't get control of the race how I would like it. I would have loved to have either been a faster run race where the horse ideally could have got in a better rhythm, or led and controlled it on his own, and he just over raced a little bit outside the leader, and I think that told over the final 100 metres. So back to 1,000 metres I think will suit him, and down the straight in a straight line where he can just find his own rhythm, and yeah, hopefully he can get the job done on the weekend.
He's only carrying 127 this time round, but he's been slowly creeping up the ratings without winning. But is the 127 going to make it a bit easier?
Look, I hope so. It's not easy, like you say. He's been creeping up the ratings. He's been a model of consistency, and you know he's never far away. And he certainly feels like a horse that's got potential. He's shown that from day one, and he really deserves a win. And you know, hopefully for the horse's sake and everyone involved, that he can get this on the weekend.
The cheek pieces were on last start for the first time. They've been removed, and the blinkers are going on. What sort of effect have they had on him in the mornings?
Yeah, look, I think it's had a really positive effect. He's jumped out in him down the back straight on the grass, and you know, he was very focused. He went straight, as opposed to his last start when he hit the front and he wanted to lay in. So his character seems to be really focused. He's concentrating. He's nice and calm, and we're just hoping that can be the length up our sleeve that can make the difference on the weekend.
Just on a fortnight out from International Day, and you've picked up 3 rides, Skyfield and the Sprint Rush and Emperor, of course, excellent proposal. How satisfying is it to get those opportunities with all the hard yards you've put in?
Yeah, Tom, it's it means a lot. It's been a hard journey, but everyone who comes to Hong Kong you know, has to put in the hard work to reap the rewards, and yeah, I just feel really proud to you know have knuckled down for this long, and it's starting to pay dividends now. You've got to earn your stripes in Hong Kong, and I feel it's starting to happen now. And to have 3 rides on the biggest day in Hong Kong, it's a pretty proud moment, and it'll be even prouder if we can win one of them.
Derek, Darcy Joy lining up for Ricky Yu again, was finally able to get a win on the board last time out with a better barrier draw. Talk us through how the race unfolded for him.
Well, last time he won quite impressive, because how he won is he jumped good, and he started in good position, and he quite relaxed in the race. And when he pulled out, he need to take some time to find the fit, and as long as he keep going, he finally feels quite stronger.
Is he a horse that doesn't have a great deal of early speed?
Yeah, you don't want to rush him in the beginning, because my horse, or even 1800, soft horse, he like to be a bit relaxed in the beginning, and he can finish strong.
Obviously he was able to race a lot closer than he had done in previous starts in his last effort where he was able to win, but what does it sort of mean this weekend with barrier number 9? Where do you sort of end up? Is it a little bit further back again?
Yeah, last time he finally have a good draw, so he can be a little bit easier to go handy without too much pressure. And this time draw 9, I still need to discuss with the trainer first, but I really try to be midfield somewhere.
On that last start win, is he good enough to be able to repeat something this weekend?
Depend where he slot in the beginning. If he in a good position, comfortable position, I think he still won very good.
Joe, 5 elements lining up over 1,200 metres, a strong debut. How have you assessed his 2 runs to date? Was he just slightly below par last start?
I honestly was expecting him to do better than what he did. Not saying that he ran bad races, because on his preparation during his trials and his gallops, he was indicating that he's got a lot of ability. But he's just a young horse, he's still learning what race is about, and he deserves being forgiven, and gets me in particular to believe he hasn't really delivered what he's got best. So I don't think we're bad runs, and I'm honestly thinking that there is better to come from him.
Yeah, so he was fourth last time out. What was the situation with the stick with him last time out?
He was a bit unaware of what he should be doing. He was hanging out, hanging in. He was snaking on the straight. At the last bit, probably the last 100 meters, he started to hang out, and I was a bit unsure if I had horses between me and the grey horse that was on my left, so I could not keep on using the whip on him. But I still believe that was a really good run because he finished pretty close from the winner, and apparently the winner was a good horse. So, as I said, he's still a little bit green and immature, but as we keep on racing him, I think he'll be fine.
He's drawn a little awkwardly, but does he have that natural pace to get across and be on the speed?
I think, listen, I honestly thought he had more speed, but he hasn't been able to show that. He's been midfield in the past, and I think that's where he's going to be again. I mean, it would be nice for me to come and say he's got plenty of speed, he's going to come across and get a position easily, but apparently that's not the case. He's still a little bit green and immature. He might go there and jump out and put on a lot of speed early, but he might not. That's what he showed us in the past. But at the same time, I'm quite confident that he's a very nice horse, promising, and he's got a bright future being such a young horse.
A winner on Wednesday night for Frankie Law. Of course, this horse trained by Frankie Law, the way his stable's going at the moment must give you a lot of confidence every time you're legged up aboard one of his runners.
Definitely. Frankie's he's not just a good trainer, he's a good person as well, and he's been deserving all the success he's been getting. As you said, apparently his stable is on fire, and I see no reason why it should be changed that soon. He's got his horses going very well.
John, a three-pronged attack in the Chevalier Cup this weekend. So first of all, Lucky Express winning the Panasonic Cup last time out. He brought his trial form to the races. How pleased with you with his effort first up?
Yeah, he ran probably as well as you could expect. He hasn't taken any harm from that. He's gone home and done well. He feels good, and he seems to be in pretty good shape. So I'd say he'd run a good race again.
He had quite a few reps on him prior to arriving here from Australia. Do you think he's developed from his 4-year-old year?
Well, certainly that's his best start, his last start. So that's his best run. So I suppose he is developing, and he's gone on with the job. I mean, it's a long process, the improvement of a horse when they come to Hong Kong. But he's been a little bit unlucky on the racetrack. But he's certainly made improvement all the time in the last 12 months.
What about Excellent Proposal? He was first up since the Derby, covered quite a bit of ground sort of from the 5 to 600 metres. Were you happy with his overall performance the other day?
Yeah, it seems like a sound run. He had no advantage in the race the way it was run, but he seemed to make a good run and he sustained it. So I think coming up to the 1600, he's probably a good horse second up, and he might go a little bit better.
You don't think at all the work he had to do sort of down the side at all and into the straight would have taken too much out of him?
Well, it was a good performance, but that was the position he was in, and that's how the race was run. So he did well under those circumstances.
Silver Express, he was also sixth in the same race, only beaten 2.5 lengths. How did you sort of assess that performance from Silver Express?
Well, it looked normal run for him as well. He ran probably the way he normally does, but just in the finish of the race, he lacked the finishing speed. But at 1600, he might get a better trip. They might go a little bit slower, and that might help him finish the race off.
Is he sort of matured from what we saw last season from him, where he wanted to do a few things wrong late in the race?
Well, I think that he could always do that. It's not something that's going to go away. But given that everything's normal for him in the finish, he can run in a straight line also, and particularly if he's on the rail, which he is on Sunday.
Hit the Shot lining up in Class 3, 1600 for the first time. A newcomer, of course, he was close up in the VRC Derby. How's he settled into Hong Kong, and what sort of impression has he made on you?
He seems to have settled in okay. He's a staying type horse, so it's difficult to get a guide on them in track work or in trials because the sprinters sort of relish that. But he hasn't raced for a year, so you'd have to think about that. And it's just the beginning of his preparation or his Hong Kong career. So I think he'll improve in a couple of starts. He'll probably improve a lot.
Was that sort of part of the reason you trialled him over 1,600 metres? You don't often see you trial too many horses over the mile here at Purton.
Yeah, you couldn't sort of get a good line on him trialling on the dirt track 1,200, and he probably doesn't like that anyway. Whereas on the turf at a mile, he'd probably get a bit more comfortable, and he can have a better workout that's more suitable for him.
Class 3, top of the weights, first up here in Hong Kong. It's never easy for these imports, but is he good enough for a forward showing?
Well, he's certainly shown class as a 3-year-old. He's already shown that. Whether he's capable of winning at a mile with a heavy weight, as you've suggested, well, that remains to be seen. Normally, the horses would need a race or two to find their spot, but rarely they come out and win the first day. But it can happen.
Zach, My Sugar, he's won 4 of his 8 starts now. It was a strong performance last start with the 1-3-3. How did you rate the run? It looked on face value very good.
Yeah, it was. He's a very honest horse. He always puts in, and he beat a nice one as well. So it was a good effort. We've come up with a good gate. He's had a little bit of time between runs. He seems fit and healthy, so I'm looking forward to riding him again.
It looks like he's got a lovely long stride on him. He won by a length and 3/4 last start. The manner that he did it, that he was able to put them away, was it surprising at all?
Not really, because he is a galloper. He just continues to gallop along, and he doesn't really slow down. The other horses have got to try and catch him, but he's continually just raised the bar from start to start, and he's not at the top yet, I don't think, and he might be able to run a longer distance in time as well.
He's drawn gate number 1. Is that sort of an ideal case for him to be up on the pace again?
Yeah, just got to get him out and get him rolling. We know him well. He likes to roll along if he can. He doesn't like slowly run races, so we'll get him out and get him in a rhythm.
8 winners across the last 3 meetings. That's 40 for the season this far. I guess that's good momentum to have going into the biggest week of the year.
Yeah, sure. It's it's nice to be riding a few winners again. I had that suspension and then a little bit of a rough month with barriers and things like that were making it a little bit hard, but anytime you go to the races and you ride a multiple number of winners, it's good, so hopefully we can just keep that going.